Hi, it's Roz White with QOTS Magazine. I'm talking about my portrayal of the role of Mamie Till Mobley, who was the mother of Emmett Till, the young boy who was killed, brutally murdered in Money, Mississippi at the age of 14. This role was amazing. I actually met Janet Langhart Cohen, who is the writer of Anne and Emmett, which is a play that imagines Anne Frank, who most people know, and Emmett Till, who fewer know, and imagines them in a place called memory, where they get to meet and tell each other their story and enlighten the world on how we can live better and not repeat these same mistakes. It's a heart-wrenching piece. The first time it was performed, well, the first time I performed it was at Metro Stage, and then we took it on tour just recently. We were in Indianapolis, and then we were in Chicago at the DuSable Museum, which is amazing Black History Museum. I'm so happy DC is getting its own African American History Museum. We performed there with actually Emmett Till's family, the actual cousin that was in bed with him when they dragged him out of his uncle's home and murdered him that night. So the family was there and they were very moved by the story, and they're happy that people are still telling the story. Mamie Till was a very soft-spoken, intelligent woman who raised her son, Emmett, in Chicago, where there was not the segregation that we had in the South at the time. She sent her son down to Money, Mississippi, where his uncle lived, and warned him not to be sassy with the white people in the southern town that he was going to, that he was to bow his head, that he was to say yes sir, that he was to cross the street if he saw a white woman coming. And Emmett Till was a 14-year-old boy who was a jokester, a prankster, a regular 14-year-old boy, and he just didn't understand the dangers, and he whistled at a white woman. And some men came to his uncle's home 3 days later. They let it rest for 3 days and dragged him out of bed and beat him and cut him up and tortured him. Then they tied a cotton gin fan around his neck and threw him in the Mississippi River. Well, they shot him in the head and then they threw him in the Mississippi River. His mother got the call that her son was missing, and then pretty soon after that she got the call that they had found his body floating in the river. They wanted to keep the body in Mississippi, but Mamie Till got an court order for her son's body to be brought back to Chicago. She ordered that they have the casket open at the funeral so that everyone in America could see. Jet Magazine came and took pictures, and those are the famous pictures. If you were to go online, you would see the pictures of this horribly mutilated corpse of this beautiful little 14-year-old boy who did nothing wrong. He was being a flirtatious 14-year-old, and his life was taken brutally because of that. And the men were acquitted of the murder. They never went to jail. The woman who actually pointed him out and said that was the one who whistles, I think she may even still be living. His mother Mamie Till lived to be about 80-ish, 90-ish. She lived until 2003. And she has a foundation for Emmett Till. I visited her grave. I visited Emmett's grave. Very sacred, solemn places. And it was just a beautiful way to pay tribute to
So is that how you approach your acting? Or that's how you prepared yourself for that character?
I did not. Okay. I visited the grave after I did the role. I prepared myself for the role by being a mother of a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old boy, and how I would feel if they were missing, and then to find out that they were murdered, and to find out that it was because of someone's hatred. And it just struck a nerve in me. Everybody, you know, a mother's love for her children is beyond anything we can imagine. And so some kind of music is going on. And so to experience that, it was just brutal. And so that's how I prepared for the role, by being a mother. And I talked to Janet Langhart Cohen, who was the same age as Emmett Till. And he would have been, you know, in his 70s now. And you know, he didn't get a chance to live his life. And children that were that age that saw the news and that saw what happened, it changed their life forever. Emmett Till's death sparked the civil rights movement. We all know Martin Luther King and we all know Rosa Parks, but Emmett Till's open casket made America look at its horrible racist ways, and something had to be done. And that's what sparked the civil rights movement. So it taught me a whole lot. I mean, the role taught me so much about this strong woman who was determined that her son's death was not going to be in vain, that it was going to do something, that people were going to learn, and that racism cannot exist. It cannot survive. We have to do away with it. And it's going to take a long time. We still, I just have to say that the young man who was the Black Lives Matter, who took his life, broke my heart that we still have someone who is fighting for a cause, but still has things that are tearing away at him so much that he could not survive. He couldn't take it anymore, and he took his life. He did today. It was a horrible, tragic thing. And so I said all that just to say that we have to keep fighting. We have to keep fighting. We have to know who we are, we have to know where we come from, and we have to know where we're going, and we have to keep fighting. And we have to get help. If you are sad, if you are in trouble, get help. Don't try to do it alone. And as an actor, I have an outlet. I can pour myself into these characters, and I can get a lot of therapy through these characters. But the average person doesn't have those kinds of outlets, so you have to go find the help. Even actors have to find help, and we have to talk to each other. Don't live in a bubble on your own. And Mamie Till was just such a strong woman, and she went out into her community and asked for help. She was raising her son by herself, and she eventually was remarried, and her husband helped. That's why she has the Mamie Till Mobley, because her husband helped with the foundation after that. But it's just important that we help each other. And I think every role that I play is important in that I find the human being in that character. And she was just such a strong human being and such a beautiful human being. So that was Mamie Till Mobley. And so I hope to be performing it again. We performed it for the Police Academy in New York, and they loved it. And we did a film version, so that should be available soon. Anne and Emmett is the name of the play, and I played Mamie Till Mobley. Thank you very much.
Thank you.